Another season is upon us. Freshmen arrive wide-eyed with dreams of future glory, while seniors prepare for their last chance at immortality. There are only a handful of these opportunities in a man's life, a handful of chances to distinguish yourself from the rest. It's on these fields where history is made, where legends begin and heroes triumph. Traditions tell the story of what you represent, of those that forge the legacy you uphold. When you come charging out of the tunnel, 100,000 people will be watching your every move. How you respond to that pressure is what defines you. These are the moments that reveal your toughness, your determination, and your pride. The Roughnecks on the Sooner Schooner. Ralphie charging out of the gate. And Chief Osceola planting his spear. The time has come. Your time is now. Another season is upon us.
Now, we may be over 200 days until a brand new college football season is officially upon us. But at least on this night, on what has been a slightly warmer night than what we experienced in the last couple of weeks, we can rejoice. We got a J. Cole album dropping tomorrow. And more importantly in all of this, we have a live show tonight, and we're going to get a little spicy here on the live show tonight as I'm your main host, Jake of College Football Red Zone, your exclusive home for 7+ hours of commercial-free college football. I'm joined by Colton over at O&O Sports and making their College Football Red Zone debut, AT from Tampa to CFB. You want to let the people know real quick where they can find you as a brand new member of CFB Red Zone, my guy?
Right, man. First off, glad to be a part of it. Second off, Jake, I got to be honest. I didn't know that you would be a J. Cole fan. Did not assume you for a J. Cole fan. But I am a huge J. Cole fan, so maybe we could just, hit each other up tomorrow and listen to that album kind of separately but together. But yeah, man, I'm pumped to be part of the team here. Tampa 2 _ CFB on Twitter or X now. I did recently make a YouTube account essentially just to do this live stream podcast with you boys. So super excited to be a part of the group. Thanks for bringing me on.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to have his stuff included in the description. It might not be in here for the live show right now, but if you come back after the live show, his stuff will be included as a first timer. So make sure you go show him some love, man. Obviously a friend of a program, because if not, he wouldn't have the audacity to be here, right? So, hey, welcome everybody. You see the title of the live stream, man. And we have something really interesting that we got going on right now. As you guys know, the transfer portal, it's all said and done. No one's entering the transfer portal. Not a lot of people are withdrawing from the transfer portal at this point. So it got the people thinking, man, what if we do a fantasy draft tonight? And what if we draft the best people that are in the transfer portal? Y'all ready for that? Y'all down for that?
Oh, I'm ready. I got my clipboard or close to a clipboard. I got the pencil.
Oh no.
Oh, he was so prepared that he completely lost himself.
Oh no.
What just happened?
You got so excited that you forgot you removed yourself from the stream, brother.
Am I back though?
No, you're not. We can clearly see it.
I feel like that's a good omen. There's some way that you can spin it that means they're trying to hold me back from the levels of magnitude that we're about to witness in this draft. Okay.
No, it sounds like AT and I are about to give you the BTA treatment. That's what it sounds like to me.
Absolutely not. Unacceptable. Ain't gonna happen.
All right, y'all hear that tonight, chat. Famous last words when we revisit this this time next year, we take a look back just to see who's down horrendously right, who's down horrendously wrong. Now, before we jump into it, a couple of things that we got to take care of. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how the heck is this even going to work in the first place, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, show the draft board. So, this is what we're going to do. So, we are picking 7 different positions tonight. And what we're going to essentially do is we're going to pick an individual from each of the 7 positions, and we're going to go in a snake style draft. So what we have set up here tonight is we are going to use the random. Oh, where's my spinner? Where did he go? There it is. There's my random spinner. So we have a random spinner going on right now, and what this spinner is going to do is going to randomly assign who's going to have the first overall pick. And then from then on, what we're going to do is we're going to go snake style. So if Colton somehow ends up getting the first pick, which apparently, according to our good friend of the program, one of the co-hosts in Love for the Game pod, Reed is saying Colton draft winner plus 400. So that's the odds that we're looking at in terms of Colton getting the first overall pick. Now, let's say he gets the first pick. Then it's going to be snake style. So it'll be Colton, AT, and then myself. And then I would go get the first pick of the second round. And we would continue until we fill up this entire board right here, right now. So with that being said, gentlemen, are you ready to see who's going to get the first overall pick in the 2026 Transfer Portal Draft?
Okay, now I'm ready.
Are you though?
Yeah, now I am.
All right, with that being said, gentlemen, good luck. Let's see who ends up getting the first overall pick. It would really be something if I end up getting it. And is it going to end up with Colton?
It's going to be Colton.
Yeah, it's going to be Colton. My goodness. So with that being said, Colton, you just earned the first overall pick in the inaugural College Football Red Zone Transfer Portal Draft. How are you feeling?
You know, first of all, I had to thank my Lord and Savior. You know, I couldn't be here today without him. Second, thank my family. Third, I got to thank Reed. I'm in College Station, dude. Where you at? Where's he at? Anyways, I feel like, are we getting into the actual draft now?
Oh, absolutely.
Our analyses, plural.
Yes, sir. So before we get into it, Colin's going to be that first pick, AT's second, and then I'm going to be third. And then starting the second round, I'll have the first pick, and we're going to go back and forth. So that's how it's going to work for tonight's draft. And with that being said, no more time delays. Colton, the floor is yours. The first overall pick. A lot of pressure on you.
So obviously, the big numbers tell you to go quarterback. So I got my eyes set on a quarterback in the first overall pick. Except that isn't true. I have my eyes set on none other than, I don't know how much he made, but millions of millions dollar man, Jordan Seaton from Colorado. We're going O-line first round. We saw Indiana do it with one of the most elite lines in college football. Miami, too. Miami had an absolutely dominant offensive line all season. That's where we're starting. That's where championships are won, in the trenches. I'm taking Jordan Seaton with my first overall pick. There he is, that beautiful man. Now at LSU, but for today, he is on the ONO Sports roster.
Wow, I was wow. We have some very passionate remarks and very passionate reactions. Sounds like
dude,
on the hot seat, and we just started the draft not even 5 minutes ago. Colton,
you know what? That is absolutely. You know what? He's right. I'll see you guys later.
But there you have it. First overall pick, first man off the board, an offensive lineman, formerly of Colorado, now going to LSU, Jordan Seaton. And it leads us into who we have for the second overall pick. AT, first time on the show. Your first.
Man. I gotta be honest, Colton. That's a great pick. That's a good. I'd be going offensive line, picking the overall number one. I mean, he's supposed to be the best tackle that we've seen from the way that they were talking about him. Apparently, he's getting upwards of $5 million, which is unbelievable for one tackle. So that's a great pick. I'm not going to do anything crazy like that. I've got my eyes set on a quarterback. I'm glad you didn't go quarterback first because I was really hoping that my boy Drew Mestonmaker would still be on the board at this point. So I'm avoiding Sam Levitt. I like Sorsby, but just something about Drew Mestonmaker's he's just the man for me. So that's going to be who I'm taking number 1 overall right here. Just coming from the Mean Green, going to Oklahoma State now, following his coach. But if you guys watch the tape on him, man, he's got an arm, a cannon. What a great story too. He's only been playing quarterback for like a couple of years now. He's playing safety in high school, comes out of high school, and then goes be a quarterback, and he's obviously unbelievable. So excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, it is really fascinating, him being a backup quarterback all through high school. And it just made me wonder, what did that high school coach see? Like, how did this man was a backup quarterback his entire high school career is absolutely beyond me, right?
And crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the high school coach has to be kicking himself now because it's not like he was dinking and dunking either. He was throwing darts, bombs, downfield, back shoulder passes. I mean, and doing it well consistently. So, yeah, like you said, Jake, what was he doing?
Yeah, whose man was this? Is essentially what my boy AT is saying. Now, the one thing I'm curious about Drew Mestonmaker is how he's going to handle Big 12 competition. Because North Texas was actually one of the few teams last year that didn't play a single power conference opponent over the course of last season. And on top of that, two of the better teams that they did play in USF and Tulane, North Texas got worked in both those games. So I'm very curious to see how the North Texas Cowboys or the Oklahoma State Mean Green, depending on how you want to go and handle things. I'm really curious to see how they adjust to that level of competition. Because, the Big 12, that's a very quality conference.
It is. It's going to be tough. I mean, and don't say that in front of Eric Morris, by the way. He got mad at some people for calling them Oklahoma State Mean Green, so which is the new coach out there. But I think it's funny, and it is. I mean, they brought half their team over, so it'll be interesting to see. But I still think Drew's going to have a good year regardless. So.
And listen, if I'm Eric Morris, I would have done the exact same thing. I'm not blaming him at all. If this was an EA college football dynasty, I would have done as much tampering as I could to bring some of my stars that got me this job.
That's right.
They're going to be playing for my team.
People do sleep on the American, probably the best G5 conference overall in terms of talent. So obviously taking a step up to the Big 12, there's no denying that. You're getting a talent increase. You're getting, better defenses more likely. But let's not sleep on the AAC. They did some great stuff in that conference last year.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I'm very excited on a different note to talk about the American once their schedule finally gets released. But we might have to wait till the end of the month, and that breaks my heart. But I actually have 2 picks because I'm the last in the first round. So one thing that I really thought about doing was I was really considering the idea of, hey, there's a possibility of me. The more that I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought to myself, what if I actually went ahead and built the rest of the roster out? Because I really liked how the rest of my roster was, like the rest of the transfer portal and rest of that stuff was shaking out. So instead, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of my roster as, oh boy, hang on, I'm waiting for my computer.
How is he talking without moving his mouth?
Yeah, I was just about to say he's completely frozen, which is crazy. It's a Jake skill.
Oh yeah. We
do you unlock that ability when you become a father? That you can.
We unlock the ability to go ahead and levitate. We are facing some technical difficulties on my end. But as long as y'all can hear me, it's gonna be all right. We're just gonna wait for I'm gonna wait for my computer to get back to normal before I update the graphic. But going to my picks, as long as you can hear me and you're doing fine, is I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple of people here. So the first person I want to grab is Chaz Coleman.
And there it goes.
Uh-oh.
That's it. That's a great pick, though. Chaz Coleman's a great pick. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, building up the trenches. I mean, I don't want to say I invented the method, but I mean, I did take Jordan Seaton first overall. That's all I'm going to say.
Which we're talking about Chaz. Is he the where'd
Penn
he come
State.
from?
Penn State.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Or
right.
yeah.
That's
Penn
right.
State to Tennessee.
That's right.
That is a good pick. Good frame. Good frame for an edge rusher. 6'4", 250.
Yeah,
I'm sad he left us.
He's a dog.
He used to be here.
I didn't know that. You're a Penn State. Oh, you're just
No.
right now. I got
Yeah.
I should say yeah.
This is Reed's team. So I figured if he couldn't be here, why not bring a piece of him to the live stream?
I like it. Great stadium. But yeah, no, Chaz is a dog for sure.
Yeah.
Surprised.
I don't know how much actual PT he got last year. I assume a decent bit. Let's look at the stats. Played 9 games, 3 tackles for loss and a sack, and a forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries.
That's tough. Penn State lost a lot of guys. It's it's not like Jay. I don't know. I need Reed to be the real person here to answer this. I don't know if he was ready for James Franklin to be fired or not, but it does seem like that was kind of the move for them because they couldn't win the big one, But it does suck they lost half their team just off of that one coaching change.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, throughout that whole cycle or that saga rather of James Franklin getting fired and then every other head coach ever getting fired, it was very interesting. It was a very interesting time, especially for Reed. He was not happy for a while.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think because they went through the whole DeBoer thing. They went through Matt Rule for like a week. There was like 5 different guys.
I don't know about Matt Rule's a good coach. I don't know if he's what they wanted at Penn State because they're looking for a championship winner. I don't know if he's that. He might be. I mean, he could go surprise me at Nebraska. I'm just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, he's a builder. He's not a go out win football games with his coaching prowess. He's not gonna win a game based off of his decision making in the game.
Right.
He's gonna get his guys. He's gonna build them up, turn them into hopefully NFL players.
Yeah, he's a good coach, it's kind of crazy with Penn State. Like then the whole Sataki thing, they thought they were going to get BYU's coach, then the Crumble CEOs out here like, no, that's not going to happen. Which was, what a wild time for college football, and you've got CEOs commenting on Twitter, and then they make changes like that.
Yeah, pretty objectively hilarious. Also, I never got. I mean, I was okay with it. Yeah. I'm not a Penn State fan, but Sataki's a great coach. Been at BYU for like 15 years. They've been okay at sometimes, and the past 2 years, really, they've been really good. So yeah. I was a fan of it, but it's like if you're BYU, you're gonna let the best coach you've had maybe in your entire history. I'm not quite sure many of their other coaches, to be fair, but yeah, he's been an excellent head coach for BYU, and they have the stipulation of they're Mormons. Church of the Latter-day Saints, you have to be a member. You're gonna let that guy walk? There's not. The pool isn't big for BYU.
It's not. I mean, when you have a comment coming out where it's like Sataki's meeting with the dean of the whatever. I don't know much about the Latter-day Saints, but it's kind of funny. He was meeting with the higher ups, So they were pulling out all the stops to keep him there. It was the craziest thing for me though is it felt like Penn State was the first one to make a move. They were to fire Franklin. And then they were the last one to make a hire. So it's like there was some – I don't feel like they had a game plan when they fired. I'm all for firing Franklin, but I feel like we got to have a game plan first before we go make some, rash decisions like this.
That was the biggest thing is like you fire him, there's got to be an idea. And it seemed like for a while that there wasn't. And they were just going to be like, But right. It was kind of with getting Matt Campbell, in my opinion, it was like the ugly girl takes her glasses off and now she's prom queen. I feel like that's a match made in heaven.
It was. He's like, a great coach. He's a great coach.
I don't understand how it took that long though. Like if you're gonna go after a guy, sure you might want to aim for the stars and try and get a Kalen DeBoer or somebody like that. But I mean, to fall on your face as hard as you did with the whole Sataki situation, and then to rebound with Matt Campbell, it was like I got short-term memory. Memory.
For real. I mean, it was a great move. He brought over Rocco Beck with him, I'm pretty sure, which I think is one of the coolest names that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a quarterback. You know what I mean? Rocco Beck. So, I'm cheering for them. I'm cheering for the QB over there. He's a tough guy. I watched him all season. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at Penn State.
And what's funny is, in my opinion, Penn State's biggest problem is they were the athlete school, or they were one of these athlete schools, where in the mid 2010s, you got the Alabamas, Ohio States. For the most part, these schools are still getting supreme athletes and putting together like crazy rosters, but
Right.
not to the extent that they once were. Now, the whole identity of most programs, most championship programs, you need dogs.
Dogs.
Star talent, it's cool, but if you got dogs, that's what put you Fernando Mendoza.
Yep. Yep. I mean, and then just, I mean, it's Kurt Signetti's mentality. Get the right guys on the bus, get the wrong guys off the bus. We're not looking at stars. We're not looking at, size or ability. In some cases we probably are, but at the end of the day, we're looking at people with the mentality that want to come win under our system. And that's why he won a national championship. He's really good at that. That's why Nick Saban had him, head of player personnel and head of recruiting, because if it's undeniable that Kirk Cinetti is probably one of the best player evaluators that we've ever seen. And if people can try to follow his method, it's going to be tough because it's hard to find the diamonds in the rough. Then we'll see success there.
What's back?
Welcome
the CEO.
back.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have zero idea what just happened. But my computer had the most spectacular crash I've ever witnessed. I'm surprised that the stream is still up. To be honest with you, but that's just the kind of shenanigans that we get. I don't know, like in the middle of the off season. I don't know, man. But
I think
did you
left
guys
off.
end up hearing my picks? Or
Yes, I think we left off with Chaz Coleman.
yes, I did get Chaz Coleman, and then I did pick up the Prince, the future king of defensive linemen in Prince, and then Cam Coleman as well. Was there like any other picks that happened?
Oh, it's Cam. You said Cam Coleman, not Chaz Coleman.
Yeah, Cam Coleman.
Okay, Cam Coleman, the wide receiver. Okay.
Oh.
I thought you said Chaz. Okay, so yeah, you went Prince off the edge, and then Cam Coleman from was it Auburn, right? Yeah.
That's a good. Those are two great pickups. If I'm being honest,
for sure.
All right, I'm back. We do not go down lightly. All right. So AT, I think you're next, unless there was some picks that happened while I was figuring out what the heck was going on with my my PC.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick on the offensive side of the ball for now, going with a wide receiver. I think he's gonna be a stud over there at Arizona State. Looking at Omarion Miller, coming from Colorado, had a great season, unbelievable player, good yards after the catch. I think he's gonna have a good time over there. The only thing is I don't really know what their whole quarterback situation is looking like, to be honest, with them losing Levitt, but I feel like they'll be fine. Dillingham will have those boys ready. So
yeah, I saw that I think Arizona State, if I'm not mistaken, I think they picked up the the quarterback that was at Kentucky.
Cutter Boley. That's gonna be a great fit there. I think that's gonna be a great fit.
be good.
I knew a few Kentucky guys that were big fans of Cutter Boley, and they're sad to see him go. But they do end up getting Kenny Minchie, who I think you're going to swap him out. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid swap for swap.
Yeah, definitely solid. Not a liquid or a gas by any means.
You're right. You are right.
I like that. Oh, good.
Okay.
All
I believe it's my turn, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I get back-to-back picks.
Back to back like a Drake song.
Back to
Correct.
back.
Correct.
Like I'm Jordan 96, 97.
This one's tough. I don't know if I should reach for, I won't even say what position so you guys don't steal it.
Who says I want to steal your guy? I'm actually trying to build a winning team over here.
Which is, I mean, if that was true, you would have gone with Jordan Seaton. You would have forced yourself to get the first pick and pick Jordan Seaton. But
you're right.
With my next pick, I am taking Rasheem Biles from Pitt, linebacker. He was in my top 50 players of this year. I mean, if you go to ESPN, look at his stats. This dude is an absolute freak of nature. He filled out every single stat. I mean, one of the best linebackers in all of the country. Like I said, in my top 50 players overall this year, that is going to be my next pick. And then after that, neither. Jake picked Prince Will and Cam Coleman. I think I'm going to hold off. I think I'm going to hold off in one place. I think I am going to take Caleb Hawkins from North Texas. They're running back with like 5,000 yards this year. Absolutely phenomenal player. And I'm building my team based off of, like I said, the trenches. We're getting dirty. We're not – no clean jerseys coming off the field. I want dogs. I want big hitters. I want playmakers. That's why I'm taking Biles and Caleb Hawkins in this round.
Caleb Hawkins is a heck of a running back. He's going to be good for sure. No doubt.
Yeah, he's ready to just really be the type of team where you're going to really come out at the end of it, and you're going to lose that next game because they're so worn down. I see the vision, Colton. I mean, you're not beating my team, but I see the vision.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I like the picks here. Definitely hopping around the board a little bit, not going with the quarterback first. No wide receiver, going offensive line, linebacker, then running back. I love it.
There's a ton of great quarterbacks. You can't really go wrong at quarterback.
You're right. You're right. There's going to be you pick somebody out of the portal, they're talented, for the most part. So.
I mean, you would hope so. I mean, we've seen some busts at the quarterback position, though. Not gonna lie.
That is true.
That
is true. Who's is it? AT again?
Yes, sir. Okay, my bad, boys. Yeah, it's me. So I am leaning linebacker this round. It's kind of where I was thinking. I had one guy, and I think he's the number one overall linebacker, if I'm not mistaken, in the portal. He was the Pac-12 Defenseman Freshman of the Year in 2023. He was at Cal. I don't really know if you're really that hype about a 2023 Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, but he's still a heck of a linebacker. I'm going with Cade. About to butcher his last name, Ulave. Ulave. I don't really know how to say it, but I know he's a dog. I watched him a good bit last season at Cal.
Close enough.
What's that? Close enough? That's right.
Close enough, yeah.
Didn't get to catch too many Cal games, but when I did, he was a standout to me. And I was actually tracking him in the portal when he announced, and was kind of surprised to see him end up with the Cougars. But I think he's going to be a great linebacker next season.
Listen, I mean, Cade is so good that like AT was willing to put himself at risk, butcher a whole last name, so that he can pick him up. I wish he would stayed at Cal, because I really like what Cal was doing. Like bringing in Tosh Rapoy as a new head coach, and also finding a way to keep like JSE too. I thought he was going to enter the portal for sure when the previous head coach was fired. His name is Justin Wilcox. Justin Wilcox was fired, and he didn't stay. Not only did he stay, but he's got some weapons. Like Cal is going to be a sneaky good team next year, y'all. I just wish Cade was going to be around for it, but I mean, I understand. Like Utah kid going back to playing at BYU. I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. All I'm saying is that I understand.
I understand. That's right.
Oh, all right. So I'm going to try to make my next two picks without my computer crashing on me a second time. So we'll see if we pull this off. We'll just have to wait and see. But man, with that being said, I'm really like taking a hard look and figuring out what I want to do to make my team a lot better. And you know what? I'm a little disturbed that we haven't taken any DBs off the board, gentlemen. And I think that changes because the DB that I am eyeing was a kid that was underutilized on the offensive side of the ball, kind of like a white chocolate Travis Hunter, dare I say. But because, he was at a place at Minnesota, PJ Fleck, maybe not the most creative offensive mind out there. Now that he's going to Oregon, going to work with Dante Moore, who somehow came back. Don't know how that was pulled off. Probably saw he was probably going to go to the Jets and said another year is probably I think another year would actually do me good after all. But I really love the idea of Coy Parrish being on my team. And, not only is he an incredible defensive player, one of the best safeties like in the Big Ten and in the country outside of like Caleb Downs, obviously. He's going to be a top 5 to 10 pick in the NFL draft. But, he also shown some offensive capabilities and does some really great work in the return game as well. Just a really solid all-around player, sneaky athletic, lunch pail guy. And so with that, I got to get Coy Parrish on my team. I'm
pick.
so excited to have him, man.
Great pick.
That is a great pick.
Like you said, very versatile. So, I mean, we don't have the returners on this. We don't have the flex running back or wide receiver / defensive back. But, I mean, it's implied. It's implied with taking him right here. He's also a very good defensive player. Like you said, very underutilized. I mean, great pick. I have no issues with it.
Yeah, and then for the other pick that I had, I'm thinking to myself, listen, Colton's building up himself up in the trenches. We could be all flash. We could definitely out-athlete Colton's team. Maybe we can out-athlete my boy AT as well. But you know what? Eventually, I got to go out here. I got to build myself up in the trenches as well. And, no one tells me blue collar like Carius Kern, the offensive tackle that was at LSU, saw Lane Kiffin coming and decided to go the opposite way. He's like a Sith that decided to betray the Separatist Order and the Empire and is joining the Jedi Order after all, going to Ole Miss, man. So I'm excited to have him in the trenches as well. He's going to protect my future quarterback, who we'll go ahead and worry about that quarterback position in a little bit. But, we're going to build the rest of his team out. And we're going to make sure that we have in the process a phenomenal football team so that whatever quarterback we do end up deciding to go and grab, he's going to have all the pieces necessary to absolutely light you boys up, respectfully, of course.
He better.
Hey, he's got to be as cocky as me. That's all I got to say.
That's right. So I guess it's me again here. I'm slammed in between you guys. So, man, I started thinking about it, and we thought, and I had written down this name because we thought when you got disconnected, Jake, that you said Chaz Coleman, and you didn't. You said Cam Coleman, and so I had written down the name. I'd taken him off my board. He was somebody I was targeting early. I actually would have gone with him last round if I would have, not erased that already. So that's what I'm going with, Chaz Coleman. I mean, he's an absolute dog off the edge coming out of Penn State, going to Tennessee. I mean, just a force to be reckoned with. I don't see many teams stopping him, especially consistently. So I'm going to go ahead and get my D-line filled out. We're going with Chaz Coleman off the edge there.
And listen, like for me, it was between Chaz and Princewell myself. I went with Princewell because I thought Princewell had more production, and Chaz is a little bit more
raw.
He was a little bit more of like potential oriented, but he's an absolutely incredible talent. Tennessee's lucky to have him, and they need him. That Tennessee defense was horrific at times last year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. I think he's definitely more like he's got the ceiling's super high for him. He's maybe got a couple little fundamentals to work on, but talent's there, strength is there, speed is there, and yeah, I think he'll be fantastic for them. They, like you said, they desperately needed to add some defensive pieces, so it'll be good.
Yeah, and I was hoping that it would be one of the pieces that maybe would have followed James Franklin to Virginia Tech, because I know that there was a lot of pieces on that Penn State football team. Even though James Franklin was fired, you could tell that those players genuinely love playing with him because of the number of people that did end up leaving that Penn State football program and actually joining Virginia Tech. Grunk Meyer being like a notable guy as well.
Right. Yeah, there was several. And then Franklin did a great job recruiting, portal and high school players as well after you got to VT. It'll be interesting to see what they do next season too.
All right. I think I've thought it over, been mulling it over this whole time. What 2 players do I want to pick? And fellas, how did you let me get away with this? How did we get this far and Sam Levitt's still on the board? You're talking about the man everybody wants. Getting recruited by every single team. He's at basketball games with Lane Kiffin. Oregon's calling him. Miami's calling him, and now I'm calling him. Sam Levitt, you are officially on team O&O Sports. That is my first pick of this round.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. But I'm a little bit of a hot take. He's not my QB1 from his transfer portal class.
Completely okay.
He's not my QB2 in his transfer portal class. I have him as my QB3. The reason why I'm not as high on Sam Levin, not just because of the amount of NIL that he commended this offseason cycle, but at the same time, though, Sam Levitt actually took a step back compared to what he accomplished in 2024. So I'm very curious to see if he can recapture what he did a couple of years ago versus what he did, in the previous season. I think the quarterback that I'm eventually gonna grab, I think he's gonna run circles around Sam Levitt when it's all said and done.
I would beg to differ. I assume I know who the guy is, but definitely as a passer, as a pure passer, that guy, and I would say AT's guy, Drew Messamaker, probably have Sam Levitt beat in terms of pure arm talent. The thing I like and the trend that I'm sticking with for this football team, I need dogs. And if we know anything about Sam Levitt and a couple other quarterbacks that I could have taken, to be fair, he's gonna put his shoulder into somebody. He's gonna truck people. He's gonna fight for yards. That's what I need on this team.
He is. I will say about Sam Levitt, I was not hype on him this season, to be honest. I don't know how he got to be the number one quarterback in the portal. Out of all the people we've talked about, the only person I saw in person this year was Sam Levitt. And I was at the Mississippi State game. I'm out myself here as a State fan. I was at the Mississippi State game when they beat them, number 12 in the country. Arizona State rolled into Starkville, Mississippi. And I had guys in front of me, Arizona State fans. They turn around, they're like, dude, Sam Levitt has never been in an environment like this. We're talking about Mississippi State. We're not talking about, other SEC schools. Obviously, it was hype. The cowbells were rolling, but he was shell-shocked. He was absolutely shell-shocked in that game. And I think he is at the end of the first quarter. He was like 5 for 15 or maybe at the end of the first half, 5 for 15 on passing, only a handful of yards, and just got absolutely dominated by not a really good defense in Mississippi State. And yet again, that could have just been that one game. It was on the road for them. They might have been looking at the Dogs and thinking it was an easy win. But to me, I was disappointed. I was expecting to see a Heisman level performance that day and was honestly disappointed. So that's the reason he's kind of fell off for me. But that's off of one game, and then he got injured and we missed a lot of the season for him. So it's tough to tell. I still think he's a fantastic quarterback. I think any quarterback in Lane Kiffin's system is going to excel. You look at every single guy that he's ever had. For whatever reason, he's really good at quarterback development and making them do well. So I think Sam would be great under that team, though. So
yeah, but then to build off your point, AT, with Mississippi State being such an incredibly tough environment, I mean, he only had to experience that one time, and that was probably like Mississippi State. Even when they're not that good, I mean, when those cowbells are ringing, like that's not a very easy place to necessarily go and win that. And now that he is in the SEC, being in that 9-game conference schedule, I mean, there's going to be some environments like that are going to be very tough. It's going to be very interesting to see how Sam Levitt develops and matures from that standpoint, so that he can handle those kinds of atmospheres moving forward a little bit better.
Right. And that's what the guys in front of me are saying. They're like, man, he's just never played in this environment. So, if he gets a little bit used to it and can ease himself in, and if Lane can just, I think, I don't know what the stat is, but it's a crazy stat since Lane Kiffin's been able to talk to the guys right before, I think it's like 15 seconds in the play clock or whatever. His offense is unbelievable. So if he can still communicate to him on the field, I don't think we'll have any issues with Sam. So.
Yeah, so that'll be the thing, Colton. You got to figure out how to continue to communicate with Sam. You think you got it in you, boss?
I mean, in terms of what we here at O&O Sports expect from him, I mean, nearly 300 yards total offense per game at Arizona State. They were asking a lot of him, and we saw it ended up taking a toll on him. And he didn't have a guy like Cam Scadaboo this year to take that load off of him. To be fair, I feel like at LSU we're probably going to see a lot more of the weight taken off of him, especially with another O&O Sports draftee, Jordan Seaton, protecting him.
Okay.
And for my second pick of this round, we are going in the trenches once again. Once again, I love these kinds of guys. It is John Henry Daly, formerly of Utah, now of Michigan. Absolute phenom. Big dude. huge guy. He's going to fill a lot of the gaps on the offensive line. He's going to do it very efficiently, very effectively. He is my defensive lineman in this draft.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, like no complaints from him, and I'm sure like Kyle Winningham in particular, very excited about the fact that he was able to get him to come with him, leaving Utah and being the new head coach of Michigan. It's going to help reestablish that culture that may have slipped a little bit under the like the previous regime to help Michigan get back to where they need to be as a football program. So I mean, I'm very excited to see what John Henry Daly can do with a little bit more attention, because Utah, they play a little bit later, and for us East Coast folks, it's a hard ass to be able to watch some of their games sometimes. So I'm very excited what he can do though.
Yeah, that's a great pick. He's a fantastic defensive lineman. I think he'll do good. He's a consistent performer. So that was a great pick. Oh, it's me again. Sorry, boys. I keep saying every time. Okay, so I'm gonna stick. Actually, you know what? I need to go OL. I was thinking about going DB here, but we got to get somebody on the line. We got to get a big boy. He was who I was looking at. I figured Jordan Seaton was going to go early, so I wasn't even thinking about him. I didn't know he was going to go first round. That was a surprise, Colton, and a great pick. But I'm going with the guy from Tennessee that ended up at Kentucky. He was targeted by several SEC schools. A lot of people were going after him. I honestly was surprised to hear Kentucky got him. We're looking at Lance Hurd from Tennessee. He's a big offensive tackle, 6'6", 330 type guy. Honestly, similar size to Jordan Seaton. So yeah, he was somebody that I felt like was going to be at a big program, and Kentucky snagged him kind of late. So I think he's going to be fantastic for them.
And I mean, Kentucky opened up the bag, so you could be inadvertently talking about a big SEC team for 2026, and we don't even know it yet.
That's true. Very true. Yeah, they did. I mean, got a good coach, and then they did some good recruiting, surprisingly. So yeah, you're right, Colton. They might be a contender.
Possible. We saw Indiana just win the national championship. Probably the craziest possible thing that could happen. So anything's on the table.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I like what Kentucky did in this transfer portal. It's going to be fascinating to see how quickly they can come together as a team. Now, if they can get that team cohesion established relatively quickly, that's going to be one of those teams where maybe you don't expect them to win the SEC outright, but it's going to be a team that maybe will have an indirect say in how the SEC goes in terms of who ends up making it to Atlanta, who makes it to the college football playoff. Being one of those teams that's certainly good enough to take down the top dogs in the SEC and really muddle things up in terms of the SEC title race as well as that CFP race as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. I don't, if they're in the hunt for an SEC title at the end of the year, I'd be surprised. But if they're in the talk for it, I wouldn't be surprised. I could see them winning 8 games and having a couple tight losses to some good programs. But it'll be interesting to see what they do over there.
Yeah, almost like what Iowa was this year in a sense, because Iowa ended up, I believe, finishing 8-4, but then all of their losses ended up being like one-score losses to really good teams like Oregon, and I believe it was like it had a one-score loss to USC as well. Really be one of those teams where maybe this time next year we're talking about, man, Kentucky, 8-4, but man, if a few things went their way, like we could be talking about them as an undefeated team and getting like a first round bye. But I could certainly see them having that kind of season. Yeah. If they're able to get that team cohesion together, for sure.
For sure.
All right. So with that being said, it is back over in my direction. I have multiple picks that I need to go ahead and make for my team. Now, where am I going to go? Two of the top linebackers that I wanted, gone like a girl in a country song. So it really makes me beg the question, where am I going to go at the linebacker position? I think a name that's calling me might be Liana Leifu, the linebacker out of Texas. He ended up transferring surprisingly to Colorado. Thought we were going to see him at BYU. Had some strong connections to BYU back when they were going through the the high school recruiting process with him. Ends up at Colorado. I think that's a really good grab for Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Hard-nosed kid. Really like what he brings to the table and what he's going to bring to that Colorado defense overall. I think it plays a pretty complementary role to what I have for the rest of my defense. Already bringing a dominant edge in Princewell, who really made his mark in the college football playoff, as well as Coy Parrish, who not only one of the best safeties in college football last season, but also has that offensive playmaking ability if I want to go ahead, run some trick plays with him. So I like what Leon Olefu brings to the table. So he's going to end up being my linebacker for my football team.
Love that pick. I mean, he wasn't just like an absolute stat monster, but he's great. He's a fantastic guy. And honestly, Texas, I don't think anyone was just hating on their defense all year. It seemed like they had that figured out at points, and he started every game for them during the regular season. So it's a good pick. I think he's got like 21 games started or around that number. And why not follow the Indiana model and find those guys that have played a lot of football and get them on your team so they can come in and be day one, contributors. I love that pick. That's a great one.
Yeah, and I think that's something that really Colorado needs more than anything, and not just the production, but really the leadership that he provides. Being someone that was a multi-year starter, I mean, he was one of the leaders of the Texas defense. There's nothing that really gets me going as a hypothetical coach than the idea of bringing in leaders onto my football team and help out with my defense. It's almost like having another coach on the field.
No doubt. No doubt.
But I'm going to go ahead and keep the Texas theme, except not go to somebody who transferred away from Texas, but actually transferred to Texas, right? We are going to go with arguably one of the best names that we saw enter the transfer portal. Thought we were going to see this guy at the University of Alabama, but then that Texas money came into play. Hollywood Smothers, come on down and join the CEO. Mr. CEO, that's what my title says. He's going to be a part of my football team. He's going to be taking carries out of the backfield for me, getting some carries from who's going to be my final pick, who's going to be my Mr. Irrelevant, and be the Brock Purdy that leads me to a championship. That'll be determined later. But, yeah, I mean, Hollywood Smothers, absolutely incredible. Had a chance to watch this NC State team multiple times. Incredible fun to watch. It was unfortunate that NC State only had half of a football team. Their defense did not exist, but hey, it made their games absolutely entertaining to watch. Hollywood Smothers was a really big reason for that. Very excited to see what he can do at Texas with a more imposing offensive line than what he had to offer with the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and he had a surprisingly large output based on how spread that offense was.
Yeah,
they had Bailey, obviously, who was very good, but I mean, They had a few wide receivers. They had Justin Jolie, tight end.
Yeah, he's good. Hollywood was good. I mean, he obviously stands out because of his name, but he performed well. I think he's one of those in the trenches dog type running backs. Goes up and down real well, north and south type guy. But he's quick. He's fast. He had some big breakout runs too. So that's a fantastic pick, and I think he'll do nothing. To me, it sucked to watch him leave NC State. To be honest, it's a team I kind of have a little bit of I cheer for him. I don't know why, and so it kind of sucked to watch that. But I think they'll do great at Texas. That was a good pick for them. Sorry.
And on top of that, I mean, he's very dynamic. Nearly 40 receptions out of the backfield in just 11 games played. So it's 3 receptions a game.
That's true. He can catch too, which is huge. I know that Sark loves to do that. He loves running backs that can catch the ball too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, just an absolute PPR dream, which, something to keep an eye for those of you that are college fantasy football oriented. That is an actual thing. We got into that like last year, actually. So if you are playing college fantasy football, that is something to keep in mind. Just a perfect like PPR like type of guy that you want on your football team.
No doubt. Well, I'm gonna stick on the Tennessee train here. I guess I just like guys that come from Tennessee. Going defensive back this time, looking at Ricky Gibson III. He's going to A&M, got a nice little bag from the Aggies out there, and I think he's going to be a fantastic addition. They needed some defensive pieces. Mike Elko, obviously fantastic defensive coach. I think he's going to be a day one contributor for them. That's who I'm leaning towards for DB. He was actually the number one guy on my board for defensive back, so I was kind of glad to see him still around here. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a real match made in heaven too with Mike Elko, really one of the better defensive minds. And really is someone that's absolutely capable of, with the resources that Texas A&M has, lead him to a national championship game. So I have no doubt that Ricky Gibson III, he's going to work out as long as he puts in the work. Yeah, he knows how to coach a defense up. And we saw that in the first round of college football playoff. They only allowed a single touchdown. It was not the defense's fault that Texas A&M lost that game. They did their job.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, yeah. Defense was on. Not going to talk badly about Marcel Reed, but I'm also not going to say anything good about him. So, so I think Colton kind of summed that up right there. But yeah, the defense has always been good since Mike Elko's been there. So I think he'll be a good addition.
And we're back to me, huh?
We're back to you.
My final 2 picks. Well, we still got a draft left after my picks, but I will just say now. It was fun, guys, but I think I got this one wrapped up pretty well. For my next pick, I'm taking former Duke wide receiver, now Miami wide receiver, Cooper Barkate.
It's a great pick.
Once again, filling the void of these players who are just dogs. Playing at Duke ain't easy. I mean, they were solid the past 2 seasons with Diaz, but I mean, they got to fight for every win, and that's a dude that helped them get there. And I assume he was catching balls from Jake's future quarterback, but to each their own on that. And then after him, did we want to talk about Barkate more?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. After him, I'm taking his former teammate of Duke, shared the defensive backfield with Chandler Rivers, who is going to be drafted this year and who follows me on Twitter. Shout out Chandler Rivers. It is Terry Moore of Duke. Safety.
Terry Moore.
And on top of that, he played running back for, I think, in high school, but did not play in college, to be fair. Switched to safety in 2023, and he's been phenomenal. Here I'm looking at the stats: 70 tackles last year, 7 tackles for loss, so very good in run support as well. Once again, dog. 4 interceptions, which is solid for a safety. 6 pass defenses, 2 forced fumbles, and that is my draft.
It's a crazy stuff.
Now, just for the record, you did not pick like Terry Moore just because Chandler Rivers follows you on Twitter. That was not like a predetermined solid in order as a condition for Chandler Rivers following you, or
I don't divulge inside secrets. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right, boys. I guess I'm gonna get it finished up here then, ending with a running back. Somebody that you're going to have to hit load more on the screen if you're on 247 or Rivals to even see this guy. If you're looking for him, he's somebody that I followed all season. I'm wrong when I say this, but I want to say ended the regular season with the most rushing yards. If not, he was really, really close. Absolute carried the offense for these guys last season. I'm going with Cam Cook. He is going to be an absolute dog. He is in the trenches, north and south with speed type guy. That's what I'm looking for here. Coming from Jacksonville State, ended up at West Virginia this season. I think him and Rich Rod are going to be cooking. Super excited to see what he can do. So Cam Cook's my final pick here.
All right.
Also, I believe. Sorry, Jake. I believe a top 50 ONO sports player this year.
Cam Cook is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. He's really good. Really good running back.
Something like 1,700 total yards. Very, very good.
Insane. That they leaned on him heavily. I mean, it was like, hey, if we don't have an offensive strategy, let's get the ball in Cam Cook's hands and see what he can do for us. So I think he'll be great, especially with the portal class that West Virginia's bringing in. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a good running back. So glad to see him on the board, on my team, on my board here. I think we cleaned up pretty nice. Ready to see what happens this season now.
Yeah, and listen, Cam Cook absolutely had to be that guy, particularly like late in the season when they were in that Conference USA championship hunt, because Jacksonville State, they were starting a very inexperienced quarterback. So it was essentially like, Cam, Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, big dog. You're gonna have to carry us down our field because passing game outside of screens, we don't really got it like that. Okay, so Cam had to do a lot for this offense, and he delivered. He absolutely delivered in helping Jacksonville State nearly win a Conference USA championship, beating the eventual champions in the regular season, one of the best G5 teams in the country, and Cam Cook was a big reason for that.
No doubt, no doubt. He was a great running back, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do in a Big 12 or a Power 4 type conference. You know, it'd be interesting to see what he does at West Virginia.
So this leaves me with the very last pick in the inaugural transfer portal draft, and you know what? It's time that I use this opportunity, put some respect on his name. Let me talk to you about my Lord and Savior and future transfer portal champion, Brandon Sorsby. Brandon Sorsby has something that Sam Levitt and Drew Messamaker don't have. Is that Brandon Sorsby has the audacity to play in the cold consistently over the past couple of years. Over the past couple of years, this man also had a head coach that was consistently the second best head coach on the field over the last couple of years. Brandon Sorsby was a part of a team over the last couple of years where we had the second best team on the field at the time, and he was still slinging that thing all around the field, no diddy. And now he goes to a place that has the roster, that has the talent, that has the coaching, led by Joey McGuire. They just brought in one of the best transfer portal classes in the country yet again. Defending Big 12 champions, Joey McGuire. He speaks offense like I wish I can speak a foreign language. So Brandon Sorsby is going to be my pick. I'm so excited that this dangerous man, this bad man, he gets to return back home. Not only get to be back in the state of Texas, but more importantly, he gets to be a part of my football team and is my final selection of the transfer portal draft.
Round of applause, fellas. Great drafts all around.
Great draft. Great draft.
I'm surprised personally. I would have bet a lot of money that your quarterback was going to be Darian Mensah.
I really thought about Darian Mensah, but at the end of the day, I want a man that could at least keep his word. It's one thing.
That's fair.
To leave outright, but then it's another thing to go out. You make yourself a video saying that, hey, I'm going to stay. And then at the 11th hour, decides, hey, we're going to actually leave.
Yeah, that's yeah. That is fair. Reed just said in the chat, disrespect to the best group of 5 quarterback. Drew Messamaker got picked, Reed.
Yeah, who are we talking about, Reed? That's what I just saw that. I was about to ask the
same. He's talking about Byron Brown. And to be fair, I did think about taking him. I also thought about taking Darian Mensah. But dude, Sam Levitt, he's either 1 or 2 on like every single recruiting transfer ranking. So I couldn't.
You're right. And with Lane's offense, Levitt's going to kill. I'm not going to deny that. And unless an injury happens or something, I think you're right. To talk about Sorsby, how much do y'all think Texas Tech paid his girlfriend to make sure he was going to come there? Because that's how that initially started. Was she transferred out? I think she's a volleyball player or something, and then he followed suit right after. So
she probably got a car.
Yeah, got a bag.
A nice G-Wagon.
Yeah.
There was probably like some apartment stipends like thrown in there.
I agree.
That West Texas oil money, it hits different.
That Texas Tech oil money somehow seemingly hits way different than the rest of the Texas schools. I don't think there's much going on in Lubbock, but they've got enough pockets to get the talent like this, which is crazy.
I'll tell you what they had. They got oil. They got oil under that field, dude.
Yeah, they're pumping it onto the field, outside the field, everywhere they can, right? It's crazy. So, in my opinion, they're going to be a Big 12 champs again. I don't see anyone that can stand with them. They're just going to be so good. They've upgraded their roster. It's not even a rebuild for them. It's not even a reload. It seems like it's a better roster this season than it was last. So, I'm excited to see them. I hope we see them compete more in the playoff this year than obviously Oregon kind of handled them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
And I think they would, because Sheil Wood is their defense coordinator still. The biggest problem with Texas Tech coming into this year is they didn't have the season that was like, okay, this is going to work.
Right.
We're going to spend $500 billion in the portal, and we're going to field a playoff team. Now they have that. They didn't get very far, and I think that was more so due to the offense. But you saw they're willing. I mean, Sorsby is more dynamic than Baron Morton. I think Baron Morton has a very underrated arm. I think he's probably underrated in this NFL draft cycle.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sorsby just gives you a dynamic ability that Texas Tech didn't have offensively this year, and you really saw that in games against Oregon, where their defense is just able to smother the run and then force you to pass, and really only force you to pass. And turnovers, now I think they have a much better shot in the playoff.
Yeah, and something to touch up on about Texas Tech, and we talked about it here on the show when it was Reed and I like co-hosting, talking about schedule winners and losers. Something that I really want to harper on, at least in my opinion, Texas Tech has the easiest schedule in the Power Four, and I don't usually love the term "it's not particularly close," but in this situation, it's not particularly close either. So the schedule is very favorable for Texas Tech for Power Four standards. And I think it really adds a pathway for Sorsby to possibly put up big stats, as long as it doesn't turn into outright splatterings, because he could be taken out early in games.
Right.
If they're beating teams to a pulp enough to where he doesn't have to play the whole game. But he'll have opportunities to put up big numbers.
I mean, that's true for all of our quarterbacks, I think, but Sorsby especially so. And I would say Mestamaker, because, I mean, hey, that's what Eric Morris knows. He's like, Mestamaker's a great passer. He knows how to run my offense. I'm going to trust him. Right. Sam Levitt, I think, is the biggest wild card, because you saw take a step back at Arizona State last year without a guy like Cam Scatterbo. But like we've said multiple times, I think throughout this stream, it's a Lane Kiffin offense. Right. We saw Trinidad Chambliss from Ferris State go in and be a Heisman candidate, probably going to be a top 3 round pick in the NFL draft. That's how good this crop of talent we've drafted here is.
Fantastic list. I mean, if you could put all these guys on one team, that's a national championship winner right there. That's all I got to say. So,
yeah, that's a team that's gonna get the I wonder how much NIL they spent. No, it's an absolutely incredible list. I'm really curious when we revisit this list again, like towards the end of like the next college football season, just to see how these guys panned out. Because I'm sure, unironically, there's probably going to be a couple guys on this list that we don't see coming, but they're probably going to be complete busts, and we don't even know it yet.
Yeah, you're right. Also, I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna try to see if I can add up NIL value for each of our teams estimated, because I'm interested what like Colton's team versus Jake's versus mine. I wonder what these guys are making and how much money we would have to spend. Like if I want to go buy the guys I just bought, how much money would I have to spend on them? I feel like we've got several $1 million sitting on that page there. So
yeah, I think in order to get that transaction filled out, we're gonna have to call up Elon. We're gonna have to call up Bezos. We need help.
We need to say
that. I can't afford one of these guys. So if you guys can, I'd appreciate you chipping in for that.
Listen, if I sold my house and committed to living in a cardboard box, I think I could get maybe one of the players that we drafted here tonight. But the whole group, it's barbecue chicken. But I do think, AT, to your point, I think On Free actually does a pretty interesting job in terms of putting a NIL valuation number on every player that does enter the transfer portal. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what On Free thinks, or what some of these other websites that are thinking as well, because this kind of stuff is still brand new. Like, it's the idea of NIL is still only a few years old.
Right. Still a Wild West. I'm in currently, and this will probably be a next week thing, writing an article about it, and just the stuff the research I've been doing on NIL. It is the straight up Wild West right now. Even coaches at the Africa conference, you got the guy that just quit out of Montana, Hawk, who was a fantastic FCS coach, and he pretty much said in his presser the whole reason he did it was because they're having to talk with these agents and stuff, and he can't keep up with the game anymore. So It's changed the game. Like you said, it's super fresh still. So, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen moving forward, but it seems like the NIL era is here to stay, unless we can get some good guidelines going. So.
Yeah, and I know that's something that Dabo particularly was like calling for, is just give us some rules that we can work from. Whether it's some kind of salary cap or just like a clear cut. Hey, if there's some tampering that's happening, let's have an enforcement arm like to ensure that the consequences of that tampering makes it discouraging, to say the least.
Right. And I mean, it was always supposed to be name, image, and likeness. It wasn't supposed to be let's just pay these kids exuberant amount of money, So,
Ooh, that is a good comment, and I think I can give a little insight. It's because the NCAA won't do anything, and the GMs can't. The GMs are more than they have rules. They have rules set in stone for them to follow. Some don't follow them,
yeah.
and the others that do follow them, I mean, they just have to say, "Hey, NCAA, can we do something about this?" And the NCAA says, "No, we're not going to do anything." They can't afford more lawsuits, which is naturally what's going to happen if you go to Pete Golding and the Ole Miss GM, I forget his name off the top of my head, and you say, "Hey, Luke Ferrelli, he's staying at Clemson. You can't double his paycheck and pull him out of class mid Psychology 101 and throw him in Oxford, and now you have a linebacker." Because leads to huge litigation that takes 3 or 4 years to settle. Luke Ferrelli maybe doesn't even get to play, blah, 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 blah. And then you have a whole ordeal on your hands. They would just rather say, hey, you guys figure it out. If you want to, get rid of all these guidelines, bypass all of them, not follow any of them, by all means, just don't bring it to me. It's the laissez-faire parent in the situation.
They're just taking a step back, and it's tough. I mean, honestly, the only time I've ever like really kind of felt sorry or agreed with the NCAA is through this whole Trinidad Chambliss thing, where they're like, look, if the local government is the one that makes the decisions, we literally cannot govern college football right now. That was their statement. And it's like, that's so true. I mean, if we've got to figure, legislation is going to have to step in. I mean, politicians are going to have to step in and change it. So if that is the case moving forward, then the NCAA is always going to take a backseat, because it's exactly what Colton said. They can't handle the lawsuits right now. So it's interesting to see how that changes moving forward. But we've got to get some semblance of regulation or guidelines in place, just so we know what's legal and what's not. Because right now, everything's game. So
yeah, and a lot of what you two are describing a lot of it would have been addressed if the NCAA was willing to pay these players well before the the NIL lawsuits that we saw that really kicked off NIL. Like if they just came out and said, hey, we're not going to allow the schools to directly pay the players. We can't allow that to happen under any circumstance. But what you guys can do outside of the schools, if you want to go film a commercial and get money for that, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you want to sign your own autographs, like for a private event, you can go and do that. These are very reasonable things. NIL was never supposed to be, hey, here the schools can pay you directly. It was for these outside companies like a Popeyes or a Gatorade, to sponsor these athletes outside of official business. But of course,
yeah,
we can't have nice things because the NCAA was too stubborn. And part of that is why we're in this situation now.
Right. And they did set guardrails, to be fair. They were just made out of plastic.
right.
And agents were like, hey, we're gonna take, we've seen it the past 3 or 4 years consecutively. It gets crazier and crazier every single year with tampering. And it's because agents know they're waiting for the guy to get bloody to go through the wall to see, hey, we don't have to follow any of these rules. And now we're at the point where it's like, are there any guardrails? Doesn't seem like there is. You've got Miami stealing Mensa from Duke. You've got Ole Miss stealing the Ferrelli kid from Clemson. You've got Damon Williams signing the contract. You can sign the contract. You can put ink to paper. And to be fair, Damon Williams did come back to Washington, but there was ink to paper before that decision. And then he heard from, I believe, LSU. That was the rumbling was that it was LSU, got in his ear. And it's like, hey, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to come play for us. And it's like, okay, I know I literally signed the paper. I'm still hitting the portal, guys.
Yeah. It's crazy. Same thing with Darian. I mean, he was on a 2-year contract with Duke. So I mean, he shouldn't have been able to leave. It's a breach of contract. I mean, that's the basic thing. I mean, it's not good for the game. I'll say that. It's not good for the student athletes. I think we forget that first word. It's student athletes still. These are still kids in college that have degrees to get, and I know they're there to play football. I get that. I mean, they're not there to learn. Let's just be honest. They're there to make a bag and go to the NFL, hopefully. But it is tough to watch, and just see. Darian Minsta, I think, is a fantastic quarterback. I think I could not say highly enough. He was somebody that I would have picked, to be honest. But I just morally cannot. I'm a hater now. I'm a Darian Minsta hater because of how all that panned out. So, but yeah, to your point, man, there's just got to be some non-plastic guardrails. I like that. comment there. It doesn't matter.
Now, if you want things to get really spicy, like speaking of the Darian Mensa situation, Duke does visit Miami November 14th, towards the end of the regular season. So that might be one of those games where we got to circle it on the old calendar. It's gonna get some popcorn out, maybe get your favorite thing of wine. If you pitch it as a reality TV show to the wives, they hooked.
Oh, that's right. You're right. That should be a documentary in itself, right?
Yeah. What do we got?
It's backwards. I can't read it.
Duke versus Miami. I'm so
I love it. Yeah, circle it on the calendar. I love that.
Yeah. Listen, I know at some point during this non-football playing season, because it's been very clear, because we're going over an hour, that there is no such thing as an off season, even when there's no football being played. But at some point between now and when games will actually start on August 29th, we're going to sit down. We're going to have a full show dedicated to what we would actually go ahead and do to fix this sport, because we can definitely easily go more than an hour about the things that we can fix. It's not just about what's happening with NIL, what's happening in the transfer portal either. Well, with that being said, we're going to leave that for another night. For this night in particular, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Appreciate the fact that I was joined by Colton over in 0-0. So I'm going to put BTA in the transfer portal draft once our boys took the field, as well as AT making his debut. Tampa 2 college football. Make sure you find him on YouTube. Make sure you find him on Twitter. I'll have his stuff linked in the description. Eventually on YouTube. It's a very busy time, but it's a very good time to be alive. But with that being said, I'm your host, Jake, of College Football Red Zone, signing off with my co-host. Gentlemen, you guys have any last thoughts before we sign off here tonight?
Excited to win this transfer portal draft. That's all I have to say, boys.
Stole the words out of my mouth. And especially, AT, if you win, great for you. This guy's been talking mad stuff this whole time, dude.
Really? I didn't, yet again, don't peg Jake to be a crap talker here, but I'm excited to see, and I can't wait. I mean, bring the noise. We want the noise. This team was built for the noise. So the haters are just our motivators, as I like to say. So, yeah, excited.
As I say in the interview, it's just they hate us because they ain't us, and it doesn't matter whether I'm undefeated or I end up finishing last horribly. That's just how I am. I'm gonna talk trash to the bitter end. We're gonna get inside your face when it comes to the draft.
That's fun, man. That's rivalries and trash talk is what makes all this fun. So if you can't do that, you can't be a part of college football, right?
Yeah. It's it just ain't. Go find another sport. But if sports is even for you, because there's probably a lot of sports the same way. But anyways, we're gonna sign off. But hopefully, you guys are all out there having a great night. Take care, everybody.
Peace.